In this video, we're going to go through on St. Hilda's Primary School, Primary 4, Term 2, Weighted Assessment 1, 2024 for mathematics. So let's get started. Okay, so the first question is, which digit in this 50,126 is in the 10,000 place? So when we see the word thousands, usually what we are referring to is this thousand space over here. So this is what we call the thousand space. Okay. Then after that, we will have, so normally you just put here your ones and your tens place, right? So that means this is basically, for example, if the number one is over here, we will just put here 1,000. But if the 5 is over here, that means it's in the tens place. That means it's in the 10,000 place. So 5 over here is in the 10,000 place, which is, in this case, the answer is number 3. Let's move on to the next question. Question 2. 56 is a multiple of, so if you remember your multiplication table, so 56 over here, not 58, sorry, 56. What is the different, I would say, multiples? Okay, so in a way, we can divide, if I were to just put like this, can we divide 56 by 2? Yes, we can. So I will just calculate for you. 2 times 28 is 56. And then can you have 3? You can't. So what about 4? 4 you can. So 4 times 14 is equal to 56. Right? Then the next one, 5? No. How about 6? No. How about 7? Yep, you can. What can multiply by 7 to give you 56? The answer is 8. So 7 times 8 is 56. So this is just your multiplication table. So in this case, out of all the different numbers over here, the one that we can find is number 7. So in this case, 7 is a multiple of 6. So the answer is 3. All right, let's move on to question 3. Which of the following is not a factor of 64? So what is a factor? I mean, it's similar to the multiple itself. So basically, for factors, you have 64, right? Divided by something equal to something, right? So that's what factors are. So can 64 divide by 8? Yes, you can. If you know the answer is 8. Okay. Can 64 divide? So the option is 8. What about 2? 64 divided by 2? Yes, we can. This will be 32. Can 64 divided by 3? No, 64 can't be divided by 3. It can, but it will leave us a remainder. So for factors, it's basically anything that you can divide without a remainder. Okay. So in this case, number 3 is the correct answer because 3 is not a factor or a number that can be divided without a remainder. All right, so let's move on to question 4. Multiply 268 by 12. So let's put here 268 times 12. So this is what multiply means. So this is also the same as if you were to break up 12 into two numbers, it's 268 times 10 plus 268 times 2. So this will be easier for you to calculate rather than you actually do the workings of 268 times 12, right? So generally what I would recommend is to, as much as possible, break it up. And this is pretty straightforward. You have 2,680 because you add a 0 when you multiply by 10 over here. And now you can just add 268 times 2. So this is a very straightforward multiplication working. So you have 8 times 2. This will be 16. Put 1 here. 6 times 2 is 12. Plus 1 is 12, 13, 3. And then we put 1 here. 2 times 2 is 2. Sorry, 4 plus 1 is 5. So the answer is 536. All right. So if we add them up together, right, then we have 2680 plus 536. Okay, we have 6. 8 plus 3 is 11. Put 1 over here. 6 plus 5 is 11 plus 1. This will be 12. Put 1 over here. Then this will be 3. So the answer is 3216. So the correct answer is number 4. With the answer 3216 in this case. All right, let's move on to the next question. What is the product of 1, 4, 6, and 2? So what is product? What is product means, right? So product means it's basically 146 or 1466 multiplied by 2. So what is the product? So this is what we call product, right? What is the answer from a multiplication? That's what product is. Okay. So you basically just 1466 times 2. So you can do that 1466 times 2, or times 2 is basically just having the same number. So what you can do is just add 1466, right? So 6 plus 6 is equal to 12. 1 here, 6 plus 6 is 12, but 3. Okay, now if I were to stop here, you see that my last two digits is 32. Can you see if my answers over here have the last two digits as 32? If your answer is 4, then you're right. So the answer is 4. So this is a very fast way to get the correct answer. Because if I were to continue this, right, I'll put 1 here. This is 4 plus 4 equal to 8, 9, and then 2, 9, 3, 2, right? So if you're able to do multiplication really fast, then you can do the normal workings. Otherwise, this actually can save you a lot of time as well. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question 6 over here. So 75,802 in figures is, so when we write down 75, and then if you remember previously, we have 1,000 space, and then we have this 800, so it's 800, okay? And then we have 2, so 2 is in the ones place. So that means it will look something like this. So 75,802. So can you see if there is an answer that looks like this without the space itself, right? So let me remove the space. So yes, we do. So the answer is here, 75,000. So the answer is 3 for question 6. All right, question 7. A bakery sold a total of 990 donuts and muffins. There were 5 times as many donuts sold as muffins. How many muffins were sold? So basically, how it looks like is donuts plus muffins, right, is equal to 990. So that is what the first statement is saying. Donuts plus muffins equal to 990. Next one is there were 5 times as many donuts sold as muffins. So what does this mean? So when you see this over here, 5 times as many donuts, this means I'm going to write here donuts is equal to 5 units, right? So I'm going to highlight this as well. Whoops. So donuts is 5 units, and then the rest of the statement is basically saying muffins. So in this case, muffins. In this case is here is 1 unit. Okay. All right. So that is essentially what this whole statement means. Donuts is 5 units and muffins is 1 unit in this case. Okay. Let me just highlight everything here. So now if you were to swap everything, we will just have donuts, which is 5 units, plus muffin is 1 unit is equal to 990. So 5 plus 1 equal to 6 units equal to 990. 1 unit is equal to, so we divide 6 on each side, which is 990 divided by 6. All right, so we will do the workings here. 990 divided by 6. Okay, so we're going to just minus 6 over here. Okay, and this is 1. So 9 minus 6 is 3. We can't have 6. So we're going to put 39 over here. Okay, the closest is 36. So I'm going to put 6 over here. And then this 30 minus 30. So 30 is 5. And so the answer is 165 for 1 unit. Right? So the last statement says how many muffins were sold. So in this case, muffins is how many units? 1 unit in this case. So that means the answer for question 7 is number 1 because it's 165. 1. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question 8. Which of the following is a multiple of both 4 and 7? Right? So you see there is a couple of numbers 11, 12, 14, and 28. So when it says multiple, meaning that what is 4, 7, the different multiples, right? So you go 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, right? And then 28, then 7 is 7, 14, 21, 28. And then you could see that 28 over here is a multiple of both 4 and 7. So that means the answer is number 4, 28. The simplest way to do this is to technically just have 4 times 7, which is 28, right? Because 4 over here, if we go through the multiplication table, right? So we have, like, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That means it will multiply together to become 28. So for 7, if we multiply by 1, 2, 3, 4, you also go for 28. So in this case, 28 is the answer. So this is the faster way to do it. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question 9. So John's age is a multiple of 3. The number is between 25 and 29. What is John's age? So essentially the number between 25 and 29. So if I were to draw like a simple line over here, so you have 25 and 29. So in between you have like 26, 27, and then 28. Okay, so all out of all of these numbers, what is a multiple of 3? So is it 26? No, you can't divide 26 by 3. Is it 27? Yes, you can. And is it 28? No. So the answer is 27. Okay, so of course, if you have 27 divided by 3, this will give you 9, which is, that means this is 27 is a multiple of 9. So the answer is 2, 27. Right, question 10. Last question. A table costs $120 more than a chair. One table and 3 chairs cost $880. How much does a chair cost? So let's go through the first statement. A table costs $120 more than a chair. So that means table cost $120 more means plus than the chair over here. Okay. And then here it says one table and 3 chairs cost $880. So this is one table and one chair. So we have one table plus 3 chairs is equal to $880. How do we get the cost of the chair? Since we know one table is equal to $120 plus one chair, we will swap this to this over here. Okay, so that means this will be dollars 120 plus one chair, and then we can just swap everything out. Three chairs equal to $880. 80. Okay, so once then we get minus 120 on each side. Okay, and then we also, so we just have $0, and then just have dollars 880 minus 120, and then we also can add one chair plus three chairs. This is four chairs. Okay, so 880 minus 120, this will be 8 minus 2 is 6, 8 minus 1 is 7, 760. So four chairs is $760 in this case, right? So what is one chair? Okay, so it's basically 760 divided by 4. So this we can minus 4, which is 1. Then 360. We cannot have 3 to the minus 4, so we have 36. Then can 36 divide by 4? Yes. So it's also by 36. Is a multiple of 9, and then you put 0. Okay. So that means the answer is $190. So for one chair, it costs us $190, which is answer number 1. Let's move on to the next question. All right. Question 11. So write the missing number in the number pattern below. So we have 23,975, 23,985, and 23,995. So can you see the difference between each of these numbers? Let me zoom this in. If you were to look at it, actually there is. So from, if you see 2,397 to 23,975, and then 23,985. So what are the two different numbers from these two numbers or digits? So if your answer is this number 75 and then 85, you're right. So if you were to just minus off, right, 23985 minus 23,975, the answer is 10. So the difference between these two numbers is 10. That means from first number to second number, we're going to add 10. Is this the same as the second and the third number? If you see, all of the numbers are the same except for the tens digits. And if you were to add this by 10, you'll get 995. So if you were to add plus 10, then you get to 23,995. So that means the last answer over here, the answer over here is just by adding 10. So if you have 23,995 plus 10, this will give you 5. 9 plus 1 equal to 0. 10, right? 1 here. 1 plus 9 is also 0. Put 1 here. So it's 24,005. And if you were to add 10 here, you could see that it also correct. In the 10th place, we have, when we add 10, that's the correct answer. So in this example of here, the answer is 24,005. All right. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, next question. I'm an odd number bigger than 1. So that means my number cannot be 1 or less. Okay, I'm a factor of 18 and 33. So that means, what is factor? Factor means, let's do recap. Factor is a number that I can divide without remainder. Okay, so what number am I? Okay, so in this case, It says here I'm an odd number. So what's odd number? 3, 5, 7, 9, dot, dot, dot. And then I'm a factor that I can divide by, yeah, I mean 18 here. Okay, so we have 18, and 33. Okay, so for 18, can we have, so we know what's the odd number in this case, which is 3579. I'm going to put it here. Okay, so it's an odd number. We know it's an odd number. So let's start with the first odd number, which is 3. What times 3 will make into 18? So 3 times 6. How about 33? 33 can we divide by 3? Yes, it becomes 11. So that means we actually got the answer. The answer over here is 3 in this case. So the answer is 3 lah. Okay, pretty straightforward. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question 13. Two factors of 8 are 1 and 8. What are the other two factors of 8? Okay, so two factors. So 8 over here, we have 1 times 8. So what are the two? Basically, what's the other two factors? So essentially, if we go 1, let's go to the next number 2. Can we have 8 divided by 2? Yes, we can. So 2 times something will become 8, which is 4. 2 times 4. So that's basically the answer. 2, 2, and 4. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question 14. There were 1,404 baskets. 9 fruits were placed in each basket. How many fruits were there all together? Right? So baskets are just like, this basket, right? And I don't know. These are baskets, right? So this is one basket and there are 9 fruits. So let me just use another. We have apples inside them, right? Apples, little apples inside them. Okay, so one basket has 9 fruits, or in this example, apples. So how many in total? Basically, 1,404 times 9. I'm going to give you a hack. 1,404 is basically 10 minus 1. Okay, right? So, I mean, if you can use a calculator, I mean, that's great. But if you want to like learn how to mental math quickly, 9 is basically 10 minus 1. That means 1,404 times 10 minus 1,404 times 1. And essentially, anything times 1 is the number itself. So you just minus the number itself. So you have 1,440. Since we add a 0, when we multiply a 10, then so it's 14,040 minus 1,404. And then you can, do the math itself, lah, right? So 1,404. So make sure you write your numbers properly. So 10 minus 4 is 6. They have 3. Then same thing, 10 minus 4 is 6. Then 3 minus 1 is 2. And the answer is 12,636. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question 15. Find the quotient when 7668 is divided by 9. So what is quotient, right? Quotient is basically if I were to have a number, for example, 1 divided by 2, the answer should be 1 remainder 1. This is what we call the quotient. And R is basically the remainder. Okay, so that just to give you a recap. So now with this, let me just, I'll just put here as recap, right? So I'm going to put a box over here. Oops. So I'm going to put a box over here, right? Okay, so now what is 7668 divided by 9? What is the quotient? And we really honestly don't really care about the remainder. So what we can do for question 15, 7668. Whoops. Okay, very ugly. But 7668 divided by 9. So you cannot have 7 minus 9. So we just move on, which is 76. So we can minus 72. 72 is multiple of 8. So 72 minus 76. This will be 4. We cannot have 4. So we have 46. We can minus 45. So 45 is a multiple of 5 over here. No. Yes, correct. And then we will left with 18. 18 minus 18 will become 2. So it's 852. Answer is 852. I'm expecting a remainder, but it didn't have a remainder. So yeah, great. All right, let's move on to question 16. Arrange the following numbers in decreasing order. What is decreasing order? So the decreasing order means from biggest to smallest. So that's what decreasing order means. So that means on the left is the highest or biggest number. So in this case, can you guess which is the biggest number? I think it's pretty obvious. Is 70,000. Okay, so 70,677. All right, next number. So we know that this is done. Which one is bigger, 67,000 or 66,000? It's pretty straightforward. It's 67,707. And last one is 66,770. That's it. Let's move on to the next question. A number is 2,500 when rounded to the nearest 100. So what is the greatest possible number? So nearest 100, what does that mean? Nearest 100 means that when we were to, for example, we have 1,200. When it says nearest 100, that means we take the, so this is the 100th place, right? 100th place. Okay, so that means we take the one digit before, which is the tens place, and then we see whether we can round up or round down. Okay, so that means we need to know what is the greatest number, that if we have something something is equal to 2,500 in this case over here, right? So to get 2,500, can we have a number that is 2,600? Will this make sense? No, we cannot. Okay, because anything it's will be 2,600. So this is not the greatest possible whole number. So that means our hundreds place should always be 2,500. Okay, so now the next thing is 2,500. Let's say we put here 50, right? If we round up to the nearest 100, so we go to the tens place. Is this can we round up, or we cannot round up? So basically we can't, we will round up and this will become 2,600 because 5 it's when it's 5 or more, then we have to round up. Okay, and that's why 2,550 will become 2,600. So that means we cannot have any number that is 5 or more. So the highest possible number that's closest to 5, which is one number below, which is number 4. All right. So is the answer 2,540? No, right? Because it says here greatest possible number. So there is a number over here at the ones digit that is the highest possible number. Can you guess? If your answer is 9, then you are right. Okay. So 2,549, if we were to round up, so this, I mean, if we were to try to round nearest 100, the 4 over here, we cannot round up. So this will become 0, right? Same goes to the 9 as well. Since we are rounding up to nearest 100, we will make the other places to 0, which will make us 2,500. So the highest or greatest possible whole number is 2,549. Okay, let's move on to the next question. What are the common factors of 16 and 36? Right? So we can just do it 16 and then 36. Right? So it's like 1 times 16. 2 times what to get 16? 8. 3? No. 4? Yep. So 4 times 4. So it's multiplied by itself. Same thing here for 36. 1 times 36. 2 times. So 36 divided by 2. This will give us 18. 3 times. What will give us 36? 12. 4 times. What will give us 36? 4 times 9. 5 cannot. So 36 divided by 5 cannot. And then 6 times 6 will give us 36. Okay, that's about it. All right. So what is the common factors? So first is pretty straightforward. First is 1, right? 1. What else? We have 2 as well. What else? We have 4 as well. Can 36 divided by 8? No, we cannot. So the answer over here will only be just 1, 2, and 4. Okay, let's move on to question 19. Okay, sofa costs $2,342. So I'm gonna put your sofa $2342. Okay, next one. A table costs $897 less than a sofa. So that means table costs less, right? That means sofa minus $897. Okay. Now, next question is, oops, what is the total cost of two items rounded to the nearest thousand? Okay, so now we have this. We know what's the cost of the table since we know what's the cost of a sofa. Okay, so let's minus this off. So table is equal to 2342 minus 897. And in this case, this will give us, if you were to 2342 minus 897. So 2 minus 7, we take a 10 from 4. This will be 3. 12 minus 7 will be 5. And then 3 minus 9, we cannot. So we just have 13. This will be 2. 13 minus 7, this will give us 4. And then we can just have 23 minus 8. This will give us 15. So table will cost us $1,545. So now it says here, what's the cost of the two items? Total cost. Total means sofa plus table or table. So sofa is 2,342 plus 1,545. So that means we can add 2,342 plus $1,545. So 7,883. So this will give us $3,887. So that means 323, is it 2,342 plus 1,522? Oh, sorry, I got this wrong. So this is 22. I misread it. 22 minus 8, this is 1,445. So this is 1,445, right? So if we add them up, it's not 3,887, it's actually 3,787. Okay. So I'm gonna remove this. So it's 1,445, 1,445, 3,787. Okay, and then yeah, we need to make it to the nearest thousand. That means we have the thousands place over here, and then we need to see the hundreds place whether we can round up or we can't round up at all. Since 7 is more than 5, that means this will be $4,000. So the answer is $4,000 in this case. All right, let's move on to the next question. All right, Ahmad has $300 less than Jerry. How much must Jerry give to Ahmad so that Jerry has $24 more than Ahmad? Okay, so let's do some model drawing if you want. So Ahmad and then Jerry. So Ahmad over here has this much. I think Jerry has more. Okay. So when it says over here that Ahmad has $300 less, that means this $300 less. So if you were to put here, this is $300. Okay. So now how much must Jerry give to Ahmad so that Jerry has $24 more? So since we have $300 over here for Jerry in this case, then we want to make sure that Jerry only has $24 more, right? So that means Ahmad over here. So the difference is basically $24. So this is Jerry, this is Ahmad. So in this case, what we can do is we need to split lah, right? Pretty straightforward. We can have $300 divided by 2. Oops, the dollar sign is a bit weird. Okay, oops. Okay, $300 divided by, sorry, $300. We minus $24, and this will give us $276, right? Why we do that is because for this $300 over here, since we want to have Jerry only $24 more, then we need to in a way split them up in this case, and the difference can only be $24, right? So in a way we split them up and then we give to Ahmad, and the difference can only be $24, right? So since we draw this, now we know that both of this over here without the $24 is $276. So now we can just put dollars 276 divided by 2. Okay, and if you were to do the calculation, 276 divided by 2, this is 1. Let me just make this somewhere else. Right? 1 minus, and then you have 7. Okay. Okay, if you can use the calculator, please do it. But the answer 276 with mental calculations $138, right? So the answer is 138 for Jerry to give Ahmad so that we can get $24 of a difference. So 138. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question 21. So Tina is 15 years old now, and her grandmother is 5 times her age. How what would be their total age 8 years from now? Okay, so first thing first, I think it's easier to do drawing. I mean, the model drawing. So for example, Tina is 15 years old, and then her grandma G, the G over here, the grandma is 5 times her age. So you need to do 5 times of this. Okay, so let me duplicate this. Duplicate 1 time, duplicate. So duplicate 2 times, 2, 3, right? Looks like gold bars. 4, and then we have one more, and 5 in this case over here. So that means we just multiply, right? So grandma is 15 times 5, mental math 75. Okay, so grandma is actually 75 years old. If I were to put here 75. Okay, so this is a tricky question because sometimes you add and then multiply by 5. Okay, so not really. Okay, so what will be their total age 8 years from now? So that means 8 years from now, I'm going to put another color. 8 years means we just add 8 years out. So this is 8, then this is 8. Okay, so in a way, we will, yeah. So total age, right? So total age is basically, right, like for example, Tina is equal to 15 plus 8, which is 23. And then the grandma is grandma, or the G, 75 plus 8 equal to 88. So this Tina G in 8 years time, then we add them up. So total age is equal to 88 plus 23. Some mental math is 111, 106, 83. 75 plus 8 is not 88, it's 80, 83. My mental math is not there yet. 83, so 83 plus 23 is 106. Okay, 106. So that is their total age in 8 years time. So it's 106. There we go. So I think for this to just, I know there will be some careless mistakes doing question 21, but make sure when you draw it out, it's actually more straightforward, as what you see over here. All right. So careless mistakes is 15 plus 8 and then times 5 to get the grandmother age in this case, well, which is wrong. So you need to slowly do this first and then this first and then lastly this. Okay. All right. So let's move on to question 22. All right. Question 22. Okay. So step by step, Max had 3,582 stickers at first. Max gave 30 stickers to Ali and 27 stickers to Bala. Max had 5 times as many stickers as what Ali had at the end. Bala had 200 more stickers than the number of stickers that Ali had at the end. How many stickers did Max have at the end? Oh no. Okay, so now we do it step by step. I would say this question is pretty straightforward. It just says how many stickers Max have lah. So usually it's just this minus 30 and 27 because he gave away, and that's about it. So it's just 3,582 minus 30 minus 27. So it's minus 57. This one I need to, okay, minus 57. So 2 minus 7 is 5. 12, 7 minus 5 is 2. So it's 3,525. Okay, so the answer is 3,525 stickers at the end. It's pretty straightforward. Okay. All right, the next question is how many stickers did Bala have at the end? Okay, so let's read the question. Max had 5 times as many stickers as what Ali had in the end, right? And Bala had 200 more stickers than the number of stickers that Ali had at the end. All right, so we need to know Ali. So, how many stickers Ali gets, so that we know how much Bala also gets as well. Okay, so that means for Max had 5 times as more. So in this case, Max to Ali, Max has in a way 5 units, and then Ali has 1 unit. Okay, and we also know how much max number of stickers over here, which is 3,525. So that means max or max is equal to 3,525. Then there is 5 units, right? Is equal to 3,525, 25. 1 unit is equal to 3,525 divided by 5. Okay, so in this case is 705. Okay, and this is what Ali has, because Ali is 1 unit. So Ali has 705. Okay, now the next thing is Bali had 200 more stickers than number of stickers that Ali had in the end. So that means Bala has 200 more plus Ali, right? Since we know what Ali is, which is 705, that means Bala is equal to 200 plus 1 unit, or in this case is 705. So we can just add 705, and this will give us 905 stickers. So in the end, the answer is 905. Okay, so just read the question slowly and you will slowly be able to solve it as well. All right, last question. This is question 23. So there were 185 boxes of oranges. Each box had 24 oranges. A fruit seller want to sell 8 oranges for $12. How much money will the fruit seller if he sold all oranges? So there are 185 boxes of oranges. Okay, so this is a box. Okay, times 185. Okay, so these boxes of oranges. Let me put an orange here. I think this is how an orange look like. I know it's not exactly, but this is an orange lah. Okay, so now the next part is each box has 24, right? 24 oranges. So we want to calculate the total amount of oranges first. Okay, so total oranges is equal to 185 boxes times 24 box, right? So I'll just use the calculator. 185 times 24. It will be 4,440. All right. Okay. Now we know the total oranges. A seller wanted to sell 88 oranges for 12. Okay. So if 8 oranges is sold at $12. Okay. Oops. $12. Okay. Then one orange will become $12 divided by 8. Okay, let's put 2 divided by 8 over here. Gonna use the calculator. 2 divided by 8. Oops. 2 divided by 8. This will give us $1.50. Okay, so we just 8 1. This will be 40. Okay, it's a dot 40 0. Okay, $1.50. Okay, so now we have total of 4,400. So 4,440 oranges is equal to 4,440 times 1.5. Okay, so 4440 times 1.5, it will be, I kind of know it, 6,000, no, $6,660 in this case. Okay, and that's the answer. 6,000, oops, $6,660. All right, that's it for the P4 Maths What's Weighted Assessment 2 2024 for St. Hilda's.